Let's be real. 2025 is the golden age of scams. And not the sketchy kind from a decade ago. No, I'm talking polished, professional frauds happening right here in our neighborhoods. Suits, contracts, even lawyers, the kind of scams that make you question everyone. So before you trust anyone with your next real estate decision or contractor doing any kind of work for you, watch this to the end. I'm breaking down the biggest scams happening in Canada right now and how to protect yourself, and how one of my own clients got taken for everything by people who claim to be helpful and helping. So if you own a home, rented one, invested, or referred someone, this video is for you. If you want real news, not just headlines, hit that subscribe button and help us build a community where Canadians actually protect each other. Let's go. So the first scam happened to two Toronto residents, which resulted them losing nearly $300,000 in a renovation scam. This scam, nearly $300,000 were stolen. Three men from Vaughan and Brampton, all related, pitched high-end renovations to two Toronto homeowners. The suspects were running businesses in the GTA under the names of Cabe Home Improvements, Send Financial, Space Inc., Entire Smart Home Inc., and Eastwood Construction. Their services included new kitchens, smart layouts, value-boosting upgrades. It all looked legit. They had brochures, fake testimonials, even an office, which was located in Vaughan. But here's where it gets dangerous. They brought in a mortgage consultant who helped the homeowners refinance to fund the work. And the bank drafts were handed over and poof, all the money was gone. And there was no renos, no return calls, just empty bank accounts. Police eventually charged them with fraud and conspiracy, but for the victims, that money's never coming back. So here's a tip. Never prepay without checking licenses. And keep your mortgage, lawyer, and contractors separate. The next scam was a Ponzi scheme in Calgary. And this time, it wasn't a scammer pretending to be a realtor. It was the realtor. His name, Eric Drinkwater, a licensed agent of 19 years. He built up a long career. He sold homes, built trust, he built a reputation. And then, what did he do? He weaponized it. Between March of 2020 and February of 2024, Drinkwater ran a full-blown Ponzi scheme, faking bridge loans for real estate deals that didn't even exist. We're talking forged documents, fake buyer-seller contracts. And the reality was, there was no transactions, no closings, just lies. And the worst part, he didn't just target strangers. No, he went after former clients, other realtors, and people in the community who knew him, people who trusted him. And that true cost was 71 confirmed victims. And the real number might be much higher. And the total loss, 1.9 million and counting. So here's how it worked. Drinkwater would tell someone there was a short-term investment opportunity in a real estate deal. Maybe a buyer needed fast financing or a developer needed bridge money. The returns sounded legit and the paperwork looked real. Again, realtors fell for it, but none of it existed. It was all smoke and mirrors. And when people started asking questions, he paid off old investors using money from the new ones. Well, we know that's textbook Ponzi. Now, he's already admitted to everything in disciplinary hearings with the Real Estate Council of Alberta. His license has since been suspended since 2024. He's facing lifetime ban, and he's also been criminally charged with fraud over $5,000. In civil court, he's already been ordered to pay $2.28 million to just 4 of his victims, plus interest, and $1 million in punitive damages. And you want to know what the crazy part is? He claims he didn't even profit. He said, and quote, "I can barely afford groceries." I'm sorry, what? You just orchestrated a $3.5 million scam over 4 years, and suddenly you're a victim too? Let me say this loud and clear. Real estate is built on trust. This isn't just a scam. It's a violation of the highest order. He didn't just break the law. No, he broke relationships. He broke reputations. And let's be honest, he reinforced every ugly stereotype people already have about realtors. I even get them on my comment section on my videos sometimes. So now, those of us doing right, we've got to work twice as hard just to rebuild that trust. And he made it that much harder for honest agents to do honest work. So what's the takeaway here? Don't ever invest in a real estate deal just because someone has a license. Ask for a third-party verification. And if the deal sounds too clean, too fast, and too good to be true, you need to pause, because the second you hear the words, "You don't need to worry, I've got it all handled," yeah, that's your cue to worry a lot. Now let's talk about the newest scam that's coming in hot. And it's not just through the front door, but straight through your title deed, and that is title fraud using AI. Your home stolen on paper. And no, this isn't some rare one-off case in a faraway town. It's exploding right now across Ontario, and it's already creeping into Alberta, BC, and beyond. So here's how it works. You've got scammers using AI generated fake IDs to impersonate you, and then transfer your property title, take out mortgages behind your back, or worse, or sell your home without you even knowing. I know it sounds insane. Well, it just happened. Again, one GTA couple came back from vacation to find a moving truck in the driveway. And no, it wasn't a mistake. They were the new owners on their front porch, holding legal paperwork and a signed deed. And the crazy part was, they never sold. Their house had been stolen on paper. The scammers used fake driver's licenses. They forged power of attorney, a crooked lawyer to push it through, and a second buyer lined up for the flip. By the time they figured this all out, the house had already been sold to somebody else. And this isn't just happening in Ontario. No, it isn't. It's happening in Alberta. There was a fraud ring that nearly walked away with nearly $400,000 from another homeowner using the exact same method. They were using fake ID, fake lawyer, and had a fake deal. The only reason why this one didn't go through was because they had title insurance that was able to flag it at the last minute. In British Columbia, similar fraud attempts were showing up, especially in mortgage-free homes and properties owned by seniors or out-of-country investors. So this isn't a GTA problem. This is a Canada-wide threat.
You take over title on your house, and people think it doesn't happen. And the numbers last year were over $100 million in related mortgage fraud, title, identity theft, all those things in Canada, and it's on the rise.
It's so scary that someone can basically take over your life and leave you either on the hook for hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even take your home
homeless.
that you've worked, that you've worked so hard for. That's scary. So who is most likely to be victim to this?
Elderly people. Now, let's clarify that. We're thinking elderly, not just because they're elderly, but those are the people who, for the most part, not always, have their houses paid for. So that's the thing, having no debt on a house, having a free and clear title on your house. In other words, there's no mortgage or line of credit or anything attached to the title of your house, and that exposes you and makes it easier for these fraudsters to gain access to a mortgage, gain access to your title.
And these scammers, they're not amateurs. They're using AI to generate hyper-realistic IDs, mimicking provincial documents so convincingly that even some banks and lawyers don't catch it until it's late. So here are some expert tips to protect yourself. And listen carefully, because this could literally save your house. Always get title insurance, even if your home is paid off, and especially if it's paid off. Run your own title search every 12 to 18 months. It's easy, it's cheap, and it gives you peace of mind. And never, ever, ever, ever store scans of your ID, your driver's license, your passport, anything in your email, your Google Drive, your Dropbox, or anywhere where a hacker could snoop. This scam is fast, it's digital, and it doesn't need your permission to ruin your life. So yeah, you may have bought your home, but until you lock down your title, someone else can steal it with a click of a button. This next scam, well, this wasn't just another story I heard. This happened to people I personally knew and people I cared about. Back in July of 2022, I got a call from longtime clients crying. I'd worked with them for years, amazing people, but on this call, something was wrong. They were panicking, begging me to come to their home immediately. They said they needed to sell their house right away. The second I walked in, I knew something horrible had happened because the house was gutted. And I don't mean needed some work. I mean literally ripped apart. There were no floors, no doors, the kitchen cabinets, the appliances, they were all gone. There wasn't a kitchen table. There wasn't a chair to sit on. Like there was no kitchen left. And the toilets, they were ripped out. Sinks, they were missing, except for one lonely toilet in the basement with no sink, and 2 floors up, a sink with no toilet. Even the bathroom doors were all gone. The shower doors were gone. The shower curtains were gone. The house had literally been hollowed out. It felt cold and eerie, like something evil passed through it. And then I looked at them, my clients. They had lost massive amounts of weight. I couldn't even recognize them anymore. They looked sick and pale and absolutely terrified. I sat down thinking, what the hell happened here? These were people I trusted and I knew, and I helped buy and sell like their homes a multitude of times in the 10 years that I knew them. But what unfolded next literally made my stomach turn. They told me they'd answer an ad in a cultural community newspaper, and it promised to help immigrants buy homes, invest in real estate, and start their own business with startup loans and government connections. They said it was all packaged perfectly. Help for the immigrants, by the immigrants. They spoke their language. They understood their culture, and they sympathized and smiled, they said. Then they always said that we help our own people. And that's what made it feel safe for them. So they were introduced to a realtor, and then a mortgage agent, and then a lawyer, all part of the same community network. They were promised the dream. They were promised a mortgage and extra funds to start a business and renovation money and government support to build their future in Canada. What they actually got was a private second mortgage they never agreed to because they signed a slew of documents and paperwork, and they clearly didn't know what they signed. And then they got a threat from people you never want knocking on your door. At first, they said it was all excitement. The new house, the bright future. They said that they had connections in the industries that they were in to help start and boost their business. They were told the funds would come soon, but the promises kept getting delayed. Then came the shocker. They received a notice they owed $125,000, a second mortgage they didn't even know about. Nobody was answering their calls. Everybody involved in this literally ghosted them. Until one day, someone showed up on their doorstep, and it wasn't to talk. They were told if they didn't pay, their lives were at risk. Panicked, they flew back to their home country to try to get money from their family. They didn't tell anyone. They were too ashamed and too afraid. And while they were gone, this is when their home was raided. To this day, I never got the full story. And I'm going to be honest, I really don't want to. After what I saw and saw what they looked like as far as the fear, it was terrifying. But what I do know is this. They lost over $550,000 of their own money. They were left with $5,000, just enough to rent a basement apartment. And they disappeared from the area. And until this day, I have no idea where they are. I don't even know if they're still in Canada. They were in Canada for 15 years. I known them for 10, and they were too ashamed to tell me everything. Clearly, they were scared. Maybe they were in too deep. I don't know. But I do know this. They were victims. They were taken advantage of by people they trusted. And that's what makes this the most disturbing, sickening thing I've ever witnessed in this business. And what still haunts me is the silence. They didn't want to tell me everything because I could feel the fear and the shame. And I don't blame them, because when someone sells you a dream using your own culture, your own language, and your own identity, it cuts deeper than fraud. It feels like betrayal, and it's happening far more than we think. Now let's talk rentals, because this scam, it's everywhere right now. Whether you're in Toronto, Vancouver, or Calgary, fake listings are flooding the market and people are falling for them daily. We're seeing stolen listing photos, fake landlord profiles, and too good to be true prices that turn out to be exactly that. There's one woman in Mississauga who lost $3,200 after e-transferring first and last month's rent to a landlord she never even met. And another family in Vancouver, they moved into a rental unit that seemed totally legit. The keys worked, the lease looked real, but a few days later, they were evicted because the house wasn't even for rent. It was for sale. The home was selling vacant, and that scammer had simply copied the MLS listing, faked the lease, and vanished with the money. Toronto reported over 380 rental fraud cases just last year. And that's just what got reported. Most victims are newcomers, students, or people in a rush who don't have time to double check everything. And the scammers, they count on that urgency. They pressure you. Send the deposit now, or I've got 5 others waiting. And they always love using that line to create that urgency. And here's how to protect yourself. And this part's critical. Always verify ownership of the home through land registry, or better yet, ask a licensed realtor, because we have access to that information. Never e-transfer money unless you've seen the property, you've met the landlord, and you signed legitimate documents. And always screen record everything, especially the listing. These scams disappear quickly once someone flags them. And this isn't just a one-off issue. Rental scams are a full-blown epidemic. And with affordability this bad, desperation is making a lot of people make themselves easy targets. The next scam, oh well, this is an old school one, but it's back with a vengeance in 2025. And if you live in Durham, Barrie, or Niagara, pay close attention, because these scammers are making their rounds right now. And how does it go? Well, they come in their pickup truck, they roll up out of nowhere. 2 guys jump out in reflective vests and clipboards in hand. They're friendly and polite. They look like they've been working all day. They tell you they just finished a big job up the street and have leftover asphalt or sealant. We can do your driveway right now. No permit needed, no wait, quick job, and we'll cut you a deal if you pay cash. Sounds convenient, right? Well, homeowners are paying $1,500 to $3,000 cash. And either the guys vanish and never come back, or they do a quick 20-minute job with watered down driveway sealant that peels off before the week is over. In some cases, they've used roofing tar or motor oil to darken the driveway, and when it rains, the whole thing just washes away. And here's the part that makes your blood boil. They're targeting elderly homeowners, people who've lived in their homes for 30, 40 plus years, people who don't know how to use Google reviews or ask for ID. And some have been scammed not once, but twice. Once by the first fake crew, and then again a few weeks later by another group running the exact same script. They drive unmarked trucks, they use burner phones, there's no company name, no receipt, no address, and good luck tracking them down afterward. This scam isn't just dishonest, it's predatory, and it's happening in broad daylight. Most recent in Welland, a senior couple paid a man $2,100 for leftover asphalt in May of 2025 of this year. He covered their driveway with what looked like sealant, but turned out to be diesel mixed tar. It destroyed their existing concrete and left behind a toxic mess that'll cost thousands to fix. And that guy, that man, well, they're long gone. So how do you protect yourself? Well, never pay cash without a written quote, a receipt, and a business card with a variable address. Always ask for ID. Legit contractors have licenses, trucks with branding, and online reviews. And always take a photo of the truck plate. If they're real, they won't care. And if you're unsure, tell them no and close the damn door. Because once the scam is done, there's no way of reversing it. You'll be left with a damaged property and no paperwork and no legal recourse. If you're still here after hearing all that, thank you, seriously. These stories aren't easy to tell. They're even harder to live through. But the more we expose them, the less power these scammers have. We're building something bigger than just a channel. We're building a community, a place where Canadians can speak openly, share real experiences, and protect each other through truth. And we can't do that without you. So please subscribe so you don't miss what's next, because we're just getting started. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone renting, who owns a house, who's buying, refinancing, or just trying to stay afloat. Drop a comment, even if it's just, I've seen it, because when you speak up, others find the courage to do the same. We're here to keep exposing what doesn't make the headlines, from renovation scams to builder kickbacks and everything in between. Let's build this truth movement together. One story, one subscriber, one safeguard at a time. Thank you.